Hello again, everybody. This is Joseph making a tutorial. This will be about chargers, car chargers for phones or anything. Now, as you know, the car charger, as we have over here for your phone, to explain a couple of things, first of all, we need a ground and we need a B plus to go to the charger. Now, the ground is this one over here. This one is always the ground. This one that makes the connection, the contact with the ground. And the ground is the outside, the shield, the metal part, when you plug it in. The inside that goes to the B plus is this one. It's pressed inside when you push it in. So are these. These are pressed inside so that it can fit into the socket. Now, many times, obviously, let's say the fuse blows or anything like that. We don't know if it's actually something if it's the charger itself or the socket itself, the charger itself on the car. A quick way to do it is I made many tutorials about voltmeters and what to use. Well, obviously, this is a standard multimeter that you can use, and when we're going to measure continuity ohms, now standard, as we said, this is the outside, is the ground. The inside is the B plus, making contact to the 12 volts. This should no time be connected together. If you do, you will blow a fuse that's about maybe 5 amps. This uses about 1 amp. So I made many videos about diagnostics, automotive, and please subscribe to my channel, Automotive Electronics Schematics by Joseph, and you'll see plenty of diagrams and diagnostics. Continuing in our discussion, this at no time should be connected, the B plus to the ground. You will blow the fuse, obviously. We can make sure that it's not. So let's say we go over there, and you know what, we put it into the socket, into the car charger. Nothing. Doesn't charge the phone. Obviously, we don't know if it's the charger or this. Well, a quick way to make sure we don't have, because we just blow the fuse. We go and we check the fuse. We blew the fuse. A quick way, obviously, you could put another charger and see if that one works. But this tutorial is to explain to you about the chargers. We can go over here and we can measure ohms. As you see over here, this is on ohms right now. As I explained before, the first thing when you're using a multimeter, as you look over here, you can see a couple of things on the meter before we use it. The obvious thing is you always go, this is the ohm symbol, omega. We have another choice. We can go and put it over here for continuity. That means it rings, it beeps. We don't have to look at the meter every time we measure ohms, low ohms. Remember, this is for low ohms. Let's say 1 ohm or 2 ohm, it'll beep. But if we look at this one, we do have to look at the meter. We do have to look at the display. Again, these types of meter, like I said, are not auto range. And this one, you have to set it to the increments, to the proper range. And it does not tell you that it is in ohms or volts or amps, as opposed to the other one that I made a video about. Nevertheless, for this experiment, obviously, it suffices. So we put on the lowest one, which is 200 ohms. The next one is 2 kiloohms, which is 2,000. This is 20,000, this is 200,000. We're going to measure ohms, so we leave the probe in this one. The first one over here that says volts ohms, the red one. The black one always stays in this one over here. First thing we always do, we ohm out, or we make sure the cables are good. Always. As you see on my videos, I always stress that. It's a little hard to see it, but as you see, it's zeroing it down, which is what we want. That means the cables are good. Otherwise, we'll be tracking a problem. We think that something is open when in actuality, our cables from the meter is open, and we'll get inaccurate measurements. Save yourself frustration. Do this. Make sure the meter is good. Make sure the probes are good. It'll save you a lot of aggravation in life. Now that we have that, we go over there. We take this. What I just said. We should not be measuring any continuity. So if you go over here, we'll try to get the best. If you go over here, this one is this one. It goes over here. This one goes over here. In no way, when I touch it. In no way, either touch this one or this one. Hold on. This one or this one. In no way should the meter be displaying any 0 ohms or anything close to it. The best thing is if you have a clip lead, an alligator clip to go to this. Or the other side. As you see, I did not measure any ohms. If I would measure low ohms, that means this is not good. Now, the output of this, of these things, these chargers, are about, remember, we're going 12 volts is the input. They're rated at 12 to 24 volts DC. Now you're going to ask the question, why up to 24 volts DC? Why not 12 volts? The car battery works on 12 volts. Well, when you put on accessories, we get 12 volts. When we have it cranking, we're driving the car, obviously the alternator is working. The output of the alternator is in DC. Why is it in DC? Because it has to recharge the battery, which is DC. That level can go up to 14 volts, 15 volts, a little high, but it could go up to a level more than 12 volts. It'll go up to 13.6 to 14, whatever. So therefore, it's more than 12 volts. So the range for the DC input is 12 volts to 24 volts DC. That is the input coming in here. The output of this going to your phone is 5 volts, DC 5 volts. So we go from anywhere from 12 volts to 24 volts. We step it down to 5 volts. The amps, the draw, the current, what we can draw up to is 1 amp. So when you charge your phone, you have 5 volts up to 1 amp drawing current. If there's a short, like I said, if this would be touching this somehow inside the socket, then you will blow the fuse at probably more than 5 amps, maybe 6 amps will blow the fuse if it's 5 amps. This outside, remember, this outside over here is ground. This part over here is ground, connected to this right now. This is connected to this. Inside is the B+, that makes contact to the B+. So like we said, we drop down the voltage from 12 volts, or from 14 volts to 5 volts. So that's a quick way to make sure that this is not the problem, because you just blew the fuse. I will make another video how to measure the one in the socket, in the charger. You put this one, the negative, to the outside, which is the ground, and you go inside, the one that makes contact with this, with the positive one, and you should measure about 14 volts if your car is on. If you do not measure 14 volts or 12 volts, an accessory, there's a problem. You just blew the fuse. So, I hope this was instructive. And like I said before, the best thing is to take an alligator clip, put it to this to hold on, so it'll be a little easier, because these slip off, as you see. So anyway, please subscribe to my channel, Automotive Electronic Schematics by Joseph, where I have definitions of scanner codes. Hopefully it will be helpful, and hope to see you in the future. Thanks for watching.